Question time. Live ridiculous. Second referendum calls will not stop. Join the debate. Panelists on the show this week are Conservative Housing Minister Dominic Raab, Labour MP Dawn Butler, pro-EU campaigner Gina Miller, comedian Nish Kumar, and host of ITV's This Morning Piers. It's been an explosive first week back for Parliament, with Theresa May reshuffling her cabinet and Toby Young resigning from the Office of Students. Both topics are likely to be covered during tonight's show. It's also possible that pay discrimination, a cut down on plastics, and Brexit will be discussed, as all have featured prominently in the news over the past few days. 23:40 p.m. Dimbleby turns on Dawn Butler. Dawn Butler has said that the NHS is the best health service in the world, but accused the government of creating a health crisis. Pointing out problems in the Labour MP's answer, David Dimbleby asks Ms Butler how it can be in a crisis if it's the best. The Labour politician seems unable to give a straight answer to the question. Dominic Raab jokes that the answer was no clearer than Jeremy Corbyn's position on Brexit. 23:33 p.m. Stop the petty point scoring. Piers has said political parties need to stop arguing over the NHS and start working together. Pointing out the pressures the health service is under, he says that it will be unable to cope going forwards unless politicians work together. 23:25 p.m. Third question of the evening: should Jeremy Hunt be sacked rather than given extra responsibilities? 23:25 p.m. Gina Miller supports Toby Young resignation. Gina Miller has said that it was right Toby Young resigned from his government position. The campaigner says that anyone who makes comments that are made to offend people should not be in government. 23:21 p.m. Dawn Butler under pressure. Dominic Raab has told Dawn Butler to condemn comments made by Labour Shadow Chancellor John McDonnell for distasteful comments about Tory MP Esther McVey. She says that she condemns all threats against women but refuses to specifically deal with the comments made by Jeremy Corbyn's right-hand man. 23:12 p.m. Labour hypocrisy pointed out by Piers. ITV's Life Stories host has said Labour are being hypocritical by being outraged at Toby Young. He points out that Jeremy Corbyn's party were willing to forgive Gerard O'Mara for his tweets when he was criticised for making outrageous remarks in the past. The Sheffield Labour MP was suspended from the party, but only after significant pressure was placed on the Labour leadership. 23:08 p.m. New question. It's on to the second question of the night. With the resignation of Toby Young, are we giving in to mob rule by the snowflake generation? 23:06 p.m. Dogmatic EU. Dominic Raab has accused the EU of being dogmatic in their approach to Brexit. He says that the government wanted the issue of citizens' rights sorted before the divorce bill was discussed. He says that rather than putting citizens' lives first, the EU insisted on the money issue being discussed at the same time. 23:04 p.m. Audience member demands Labour come clean to the country. One audience member has furiously ripped into the Labour Party. Aiming his anger at Dawn Butler, he has told her that Jeremy Corbyn has failed to be clear on their position on the EU. He's demanded that the party let the country know their position. Piers has joined in the attack and told Ms Butler to explain if Labour want to be in or out of the customs union. The MP is unable to give a clear answer. 22:59 p.m. Piers mocks EU cheerleaders. Piers has mocked Remainers for constantly going on about the referendum result, comparing the vote to a football match. He's accused Gina Miller and her pro-EU friends of losing a football match and then insisting on playing it again until they get the result they want. Ms Miller looked furious at the analogy. 10:53 p.m. Dominic Raab blasts Gina Miller. The new Conservative Housing Minister has criticised the Remainer for shifting the goalposts. He highlights that Gina Miller wanted a vote in Parliament to trigger Article 50 and has now changed her opinion to argue there's a need for a second referendum. The MP has said it's time for the country to get on with delivering the result of the June 2016 vote. 10:48 p.m. The first question of the night: when are ridiculous suggestions of a second referendum going to stop? Gina Miller answers, arguing that a people's vote must be given to the issue after the negotiation. She claims it must be a vote for the people, not Parliament. 10:47 p.m. A second referendum? Nigel Farage today said that a second referendum may be the only way to settle the issue of Brexit given how divided the country has become. The announcement from the champion of divorce from the EU came as a shock. Could this be one of the topics the panel are asked about? 10:40 p.m. Piers Morgan was a popular pundit, one audience member has claimed. Said Piers Morgan received a big applause when he entered the Question Time studio. The figure is known for his controversy and people usually have mixed opinions about his views. 10:35 p.m. Piers Morgan is already tweeting about the show. Piers Morgan has already tweeted about tonight's program, which is filmed a couple of hours in advance. He has promised a fiery encounter. The TV personality has said thing got so heated, the chairman had to raise his voice. Who is Dominic Raab? Dominic Raab is the Conservative MP for Esher and Walton and was first elected to the House of Commons in 2010. Appointed Housing Minister in Theresa May's cabinet reshuffle on Monday, Mr. Raab has been tipped as a future leader of the Tory party. A staunch pro-Brexit campaigner, he is the son of Czech-born immigrant who came to Britain as refugee in 1938. Before entering Parliament he worked as a lawyer, representing the Foreign Office. Who is Dawn Butler? Dawn Butler is a Labour politician, who has been MP for Brent Central since May 2015. Ms. Butler was appointed as Shadow Minister for Women and Equalities by Jeremy Corbyn last summer. The Labour MP was one of the most prominent voices in Parliament calling for Toby Young to be sacked from his role on the board of the new higher education watchdog before he resigned on Tuesday. She first sat in Parliament between 2005 and 2010 as the representative for Brent South. Who is Gina Miller? Remain owner Gina Miller came to prominence in the weeks following the EU referendum in 2016. An investment manager by trade, Ms. Miller frustrated the Brexit process by taking the government to court in 2016 to demand Parliament had the right to overrule the referendum result. Despite whining her case, MPs overwhelmingly voted in favor of triggering Article 50 in the House of Commons. She was previously married to John Maguire, an anti-EU campaigner, but they divorced in 2002. Who is Piers Morgan? Notorious host of ITV's Good Morning Britain, Piers Morgan is making his 22nd appearances on Question Time. He is a columnist for the Mail Online and the Mail on Sunday. The former Mirror editor is also one of only 45 people followed by Donald Trump on Twitter.